everybody, Joe Passion Unchained here, here to help you build a life that you love. I'm excited. As you can see, I have decided to put more effort into my setup here. A couple developments in my life that I am both nervous and scared about. I was working with a company, a dating profile photography company, as we talked about. I was doing some clients for myself. We have since parted ways. There were a couple of things that happened that caused some friction in our relationship. And now I am on my own working for clients, and that's it. So I'm excited for that because it gives me more control over the process. And it gives me more involvement in the process. And I'm also nervous because it adds uncertainty to my life. There's a lot of lessons there. A lot of stuff that I'll be talking about when it comes to being in control of your life and dealing with uncertainty. A lot of stoicism, a lot of internal awareness that you need to have. But today I'm going to talk about what I do, how I help people, and I'm going to help you. Whether or not you work with me as a photographer, watching this video will help you get the matches and dates that you want in your life and build a love, romance, and sex life that you desire. That's what Passion Unchained is about. It's about helping people build lives they love. And I want to do that as much as possible. So let's get started. How do you get more matches on Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, online dating? How do you do that, right? First of all, I want to talk about what online dating is and a common misconception, people comparing it to something it's not. And pretty much everybody does this. You've probably heard people say that online dating is shallow. You've probably heard people say that it sucks because all that people care about is looks, right? No, if you dive deeper, it uncovers a comparison that people are making that is not a fair comparison. Now, what I mean is, if you were to have a long conversation with somebody, if you met somebody at a bar, at a house party somewhere, and you had a long conversation with them, it wouldn't be fair to be judging the other person only on their looks. Now, of course, when it comes to sex, it's really important that, or any relationship or romance, even long-term that involves sex, you gotta be attracted to the other person. Otherwise, what's the point? Otherwise, you're really disrespecting yourself by allowing your body to mingle with somebody else's body if you're not attracted to that body. Now, you might be attracted to that mind, sure, but if there's physicality involved, looks matter. But let's forget that for a moment. There is something to be said for, in a long conversation, you don't want to judge the person just on their looks. You want to judge them on how it feels to be around them, how it is to talk to them. Are they intelligent? Do they listen to you? Or do they just say, care about what they have to say? Do they seem to be aware of your emotions? Are they empathetic? Are they aware of the social situation? Or are they just in their own head and not even caring about what anyone else thinks about them? Now, these all factor into whether we want to keep being with them, keep talking with them, keep hanging out with them, exchange information so that you can hang out with them more. That all has to do with that little bit of it, right? Now, people are comparing matching with somebody on Tinder to that. And I think this is an unfair comparison. I'll give you a better comparison. I think this is an unfair comparison because that's not what dating apps are designed to do. They're not designed to get a good feel of who the other person is, right? That's what happens when you meet up, right? That's the meetup part if you match on online dating and you meet up, right? Dating apps, the better analogy is you're at a house party or a bar or in a library and you look over the other side of the room. And on the other side of the room, there's a cutie looking back over at you. And you can tell that you like the other person because they're attractive to you. What you see appeals to you and for some reason, and they can tell that they like you. And you know that because you can see their facial expression, the way they're looking at you. They're looking at you for a second too long. And then you decide, you know what? I want to go over there and talk to her, right? That is what dating apps are. They're a virtual version of that, the trope of locking eyes, right? And the reason I say that is because that's all it is. You have a picture and you swipe right or left. You're like, oh, I'm looking out around the crowd around me. Which of these girls or guys, which of these girls, I'm going to say girls because I cater more towards guys. Guys are more the people who hit me up. Heterosexual guys are more the people who hit me up for my services. You're looking around and you're seeing girls and you're like, I like her, I don't like her, I like her, I don't like her. It might be subconscious, but you're doing it all the time. You're like, I find her attractive, I don't find her attractive, etc. That's what dating apps are. We do that in everyday life anyway. And people are saying it's shallow only because they're comparing it to the wrong thing. Once you meet up, then that's a different story. If you meet up, then of course you're in person, you can judge her more, but you at least swipe right because you're like, well, I find her above my minimum level of attractiveness. Otherwise you wouldn't have swiped right. Because like you're at least somewhat interested in her when you swipe right. You don't know anything about her. That's what meeting up's for. So that's a better analogy. So when we think of online dating, a better way to think of it, and this will help you get more dates and build a love life that you like, incorporating online dating. Not necessarily only using online dating, but I think it's an important ingredient in today's world. Because if you understand what it is, it's just locking eyes and mutual initial interest, then you can use it as it's supposed to be used. All right. So now that we know what it's like, now that we know a good analogy for it, what matters when you look at that girl across the bar and she looks at you, what is the only thing they see? They see just what you look like. And maybe who you're talking to. Maybe if people are surrounding you or if everyone just seems to be ignoring you, they have this sense of who you are in a split second, right? We're very good at that as humans. We're not perfect, no, but we're quite good at summarizing up and inferring characteristics about another person based on their demeanor, based on the way they groom themselves, based on what they wear, and we can judge things about who they are, what their life is like, and also how people around them are reacting to them. Now, that's what the photos are on a dating app. The photos are that. And if you have photos that don't show you in the right light, it's like you going to a party with a dirty shirt or a shirt that's too big or too baggy. That's what it's like when you have photos in your dating app that aren't looking good. Do you think a really amazing girl that you would love, very attractive, maybe smart, great to hang out with, sexy, turns you on in a lot of ways? Do you think she's going to go up to a guy, or she's going to be interested in a guy going up to her who has a dirty shirt, maybe it's baggy, he didn't groom his beard, his hair is just like growing out and not in a nice way, maybe he smells a little bad? Do you think that she's going to be receptive to him going up to her in a party? Maybe she'll give him the benefit of the doubt, but for the most part, at least you'll be starting off on the wrong foot. She's not going to be welcoming to you coming over to her, not nearly as much as if you had yourself put together like I am right now. You know, I got a good physique, I got a nice form-fitting shirt. You can't smell me, but neither can I. And I groom my beard and all that jazz, right? Now, of course, I'm not every girl's type, but me going up to a girl at a party versus even the same me with a baggy shirt and splotches on my shirt, and just I let my beard grow out too much and my hair is not nice and oiled up, because when I don't oil it up, it gets all dry and frizzy, and I don't smell good. Like, you put all those things together and the same girl would not want me to go up to her. That is what having bad photos versus good photos are like in your Tinder profile. Having photos where it's like either a selfie or a mirror selfie, or you have the same shirt in all of them, or you have one. I've worked with over 100 clients, and I've seen the photos that they use beforehand, and it is atrocious. And it's no offense, because most guys don't know how to take photos. It's just we don't usually take photos of ourselves or have photos taken of ourselves, but it's the equivalent of going up to a girl and having a dirty shirt, or having or not having taken a shower, or any of those things, because that's what she sees on a dating app. If you're making the analogy of a guy and a girl across a bar, house party, library, whatever, what have you, you don't want to make the mistake of looking really bad or smelling really bad, or just not grooming yourself or not having a clean shirt. So the conclusion is, what matters on dating apps is your photos. Now, most people intuitively understand that. Some people don't. Some people think it's the bio. The bio isn't that important. A bad bio can break your chances. An excellent bio can help it a little bit, but it can't make up for bad photos. Bad photos take the cake. It's very, very rare. It happens, but it's very, very rare that I'll be swiping on the app and I'll see a girl I'm not very interested in, but I see her bio, and her bio changes my mind, right? That's very rare. It happens, and it happens the other way too, girls swiping on guys, but it's rare. It would help you a lot more to work on your photos. Now, a lot of people come to me. I'm a dating profile photographer. A lot of people come to me disappointed and sad and frustrated because they paid a lot of money for a portrait photographer or for a general photographer. And they put the photos up on dating apps and they don't get any matches. Now, if you're not specialized in dating photography, as a photographer, you're going to take photos that are too generic, meaning they're just you sitting down or walking or posing or leaning. And they're also not candid. They're too posed. They look too perfect or too awkward because that's not how a normal person sits or stands. It's how we're used to looking at people sitting and standing in a magazine or in a really nice model advertisement photo shoot, because that's what kind of stuff they do. That's what general and portrait photographers are good at. They're good at getting people to look nice and posed. Like I wouldn't really go like this. I can't really do too much examples of it here. Maybe I'll pop some up there of like an ultra pose shot. I've done some, and it's okay to have maybe one or two in your profile. But if all you have is really nice professional photos where you're just sitting or standing, it doesn't show anything extra about your personality, and you pop them up there, and it's like, that's just going to turn a girl off. She's like, who is this guy? He's fake. You'll get some right swipes, but you're not going to get that much more than having just, what normal guys do is gym selfies and stuff. Hiring a dating profile photographer, whether it's me or somebody else, there's not many of us out there, but if you hire somebody, there are some other good ones. You'll have a focus on relatability, and you'll have a focus on intrigue, like what kind of hobbies do you have? Like you'll be doing something in the photo and being active so she can see what you're like from the photos. Like for me, I have a couple of me taking photos, right? Because that way she can see that I'm a photographer, I'm somewhat artistic, and I have this artistic sense of the world. I also have one of me, I was exploring a cave, I was spelunking, and my friend took a photo of me with actually his phone. So it's the only phone photo I have. But I popped the phone photo up on there because it helps me look more relatable. And it has an interesting photo of me in a cave with like cave exploring spelunking gear on. It has intrigue. Another thing they'll help you out with is authenticity. Is like, would you actually be doing these things? With a dating profile photographer, it's like, would you actually be doing these things? But if you work with most other photographers who don't specialize in this, they won't really care too much about would you normally be doing these things, because they're thinking from the aesthetic point only of the photos, which is not a bad thing. It's just not what those photos are designed to do. So authenticity is a huge bit. And then the last bit that dating profile photographers are excellent at, that I have found other photographers aren't, is appealing to the right audience. When I make a profile for myself or for my clients, I've worked with over 100, I'm thinking of what do they want, what kind of girls are they looking for, what are they looking for in their dating life. They might be looking for a potential wife, or maybe just a girlfriend or a long-term relationship, or they might be looking for a lot of casual sex, or like a bunch of friends with benefits, a regular fuck buddy type situation. And like I said, I've worked with a lot of clients. I've helped guys of all the spectrum. And one example, for instance, was of me changing the photos up to appeal to a larger audience. There's a guy I worked with in Cleveland recently he's interested in finding a long-term relationship, and eventually he wants to find a wife. And he's a religious guy. He has faith, and it's an important bit in his life. My light just went out. It doesn't have that much battery life. I'm getting new ones, so don't worry about that. But it's an important bit in his life, and so for him, if he wants to find a girl, it's important to find a girl who's potentially open to that. So his mom actually wasn't available. There was a long story, but we had planned a photo with his mom so that he could be with his mom, and it would be an adorable photo of him and his mom, right? And the reason is because if a girl only wants to have some casual sex, she's going to go on his profile, she's going to see that photo, and she's going to swipe left, which is what he wants. If a girl is open to eventually getting married, but wants to feel him out, and he obviously wants to make sure he likes her first, she would love that photo and swipe right? So that's a screening technique. Another screening technique on the complete other side of the situation, and there's a lot in the middle you can use, but this is something I've done for myself and clients, is you can have a really good photo. I'll pop one up here. You can have a really good photo of you in with like holding handcuffs in a in like a blazer. I have one of me holding handcuffs in a blazer having a really sultry look. And that's an extremely posed photo, but that's meant and purposefully meant to screen in the girls who are down for something sexual and to explore like a fun, sexy power dynamic. And it's meant to screen out the girls who are not into that or not curious about that. And both of these types of photos screen in some girls and screen out the others. You want the right girls to swipe right and the wrong girls to swipe left. That's something only a dating profile photographer can do. You can't do that when you have a just a generic or a portrait photographer. So yeah, so that's a lot of the information that will get you started. Like I said, I do this myself. I travel to clients. I also work locally. If you're curious about working with me, I want to hear what you have to, what you're kind of into, what your goals are, etc. And I want to make sure that you're willing to invest in yourself because my shoots are not cheap. Just want to be clear about that because sometimes I get people going on the call and be like, how much do you charge? And like the first question they ask, and I'm like, well, if you're asking that question so early, we're probably not a match. Now, I'm not a gargantuan price, and I do offer payment plans for people who need them, so I will work with you, but I do want to reiterate, if you're expecting it to be cheap and you want to save a penny, then we're probably not a match. You're probably not going to like the price. So might as well save each other's time. But that said, I've worked with over 100 clients. I'm excited to work with you. I'm really excited, and because I want to help people build a life they love. That's why I do what I do. And of course to help pay my bills, but that's not as much of, it's still important to me right now with the financial place that I'm in, but it's not it's like I'm in a better place where I can think of bigger goals. So link in the description if you want my help. If you want to schedule a call with me, just schedule a call. It's a quick call. We figure out logistics, and I take your payment if that's something that you want to do, and then we schedule a second call to figure out what shots we're going to get. We'll talk about that all. The second thing I want to talk about is we just hit 225 subscribers, which I'm very grateful for. Thank you guys for subscribing. If you haven't and you like this video, go ahead and do that. Once I have 250 subscribers, I'm doing a special. I did a special for my 100 subscribers. It's 4 videos. Each video I take 25 teaspoons of hot sauce and then pull out a random fact from a hat or like a bowl that I put a bunch of random facts in, and I take the hot sauce and I say the fact, and I have 100 of those in total, split over 4 videos. So search my channel for 100 subscriber special if you want to check that out. I'm excited. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do for 250, but just 25 more, and we'll hit that. I'm really excited. We're chugging along there. So you're in early. Once I am hundreds of thousands, a million subscribers, then you guys will have the benefit of knowing that you came here at the ground level. So I'm very grateful for you. I also want to say I have an email list. It's also linked in the description below for that. Sign up to that if you're curious, if you want to have more exclusive content. I send out a newsletter about once a week. Each video I put out, I pop that in an email and put some unique content that you don't find anywhere else, and some other way to get guidance on how to build a life that you love. Custom life, perfect for you. So wishing you the best. I'm excited to hear how these tips and tricks for how to think about online dating and how to get photos for yourself, what kind of photos to get. I want to hear how that worked out for you. Let me know in the comments below. I know some of my former clients watch my channel, so feel free to comment about your experience here and share with the others what it's like to work with me. Maybe even pop links to your photos if you're curious, if you're inspired and want to show others what we got together. And looking forward to working with some of you. So cheers. Enjoy yourselves. Goodbye.